All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This is the belated player ratings from yesterday's show, from yesterday's game. As you can see, I'm by myself. Normally, I'm with Lee. I'm hoping he's still coming. I know that he has to leave pretty swiftly, so I thought I'd get started, and if he drops in and we get going from his perspective. From my perspective, the game was good. I thought we performed pretty well. I thought it was a strong performance. I thought in the second half we were quite controlled. I thought it was interesting watching the players' interviews afterwards. They're clearly aware that at the moment their struggle seems to be their intensity in the first half doesn't quite match their intensity in the second half. And it seems like they're aware of this. Actually, it's quite interesting to note this because particularly in the early days where things were going a bit rosy for Emre, that always seemed to be the case. That Arsenal would be very good at playing for a half, but not playing for the full 90 minutes. It is a thing that has been a problem for us for a long time. And it was interesting to note that Arteta and the players seem to be quite aware of this. From my perspective, it was a good performance. It's good seeing Arsenal fans happy. I do think that a lot of Arsenal fans are probably getting a little bit carried away. You know, you're seeing a lot of kind of messages of, oh, well, you know, we're well beaters and all is forgiven with Mesut Ozil and all is forgiven with Granit Xhaka and all is forgiven with all the players. David Luiz is finally showing that he's a well beater. It's like, guys, it's been one game. Relax, easy. There's nothing wrong, by the way. Nothing wrong with being happy about the performance. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Be happy that Arsenal have won. It's been a long time since we won. I get being happy. But Arsenal fans are very quick. And this is why Ali has quite rightly said on a few occasions, we are the most reactionary fan base. Because after one, albeit very good performance against United, people have got carried the fuck away. Like, people have gone mad on Twitter. You know, I'm seeing lots of people saying you have some of the well-known fan bases, members of the fan base saying, oh, well, I want to see the doubters of Arteta now. I'm still a doubter of Arteta. I'm still a doubter, but he's proving himself to me. He's proving himself to me. You know, the last three performances, I would be deluded and bitter if I didn't look at those three performances and didn't see an improvement. I said, I even got into a small argument with Lee about it. I said against Bournemouth, I could see there was more effort there. Against Chelsea, I could see there was a little bit more desire there. And against United, I saw everything that I saw from the first two games in that performance, plus the win. That is progress. That is a positive trajectory that I can't ignore. I'm not going to start saying that we're going to win the Europa League. I'm not going to start saying that Pep is the new coming of Pep Guardiola. Sorry, that Arteta, look at me. Arteta is the new coming of Pep Guardiola. Yes, that is something I've actually seen today. I'm not going to start saying, I love Hugh Wizzy. But, brother, some of the claims he was making about Granit Xhaka and Mesut Ozil, it's just like, guys, easy. Easy. I'm glad I did this today. The initial plan was to do it today purely on the basis that me and Lee had a straight conversation. It was the last night I was spending with the other half before coming back home. And from his perspective, he just wanted to get some sleep. And we kind of had this agreement that, you know, we would do this together tomorrow. Obviously, he still hasn't turned up yet, so I assume he's unable to make it. And in any case, you guys already know his ratings. So yeah, in which case I might as well just carry on. From my perspective, though, I'm glad I got to do it today because it allowed me to just look at this game from a fresh perspective, kind of the morning after, after the euphoria of winning has gone and everything has gone. What is my new take on this game? I thought we played well. I don't want the hard work to stop. This is a good result against a United side who were poor. Because for as every bit as good as we were, United were equally as poor. Shout out to Stel. I'm going to jump on Stel's podcast later with a couple of United fans, and it'll be really interesting to actually see genuinely from their perspective. We've been losing all season. It's going to be nice just hearing someone else complain. so I'm going to lie. I'm partly looking forward to that because I ain't going to lie. It's still Tottenham number one. United is a close second for me. Can't stand them, man. See you next Tuesdays. So from my perspective, I'm sort of looking forward to it. But it'd be interesting to see where they feel it went wrong. From where I felt it went right, I thought that Pepe was the inspiration. He was absolutely inspiration. He came on. He looked determined to prove himself. He looked determined to show that Mikel Arteta's decision to start him was the correct one. He was working up and down, tracking back. I've heard people say that he had Luke Shaw on toast. He had Luke Shaw on toast, put butter on that, put some jam on that, and ate half the fucker. Trust me, he had Luke Shaw on skids. Interestingly enough, one of the things from a United perspective is actually they felt that Pepe could have gone at Luke Shaw even more, that Luke Shaw actually got off fairly lightly. I've said this as well in a few group chats today. I actually thought the scoreline flattered them. I thought we should have smacked them. Absolutely smacked them. I thought they were poor yesterday. Yes, in the second half, they came on a bit stronger. I don't know about you guys. Considering we've up until that point, we'd only won 1 in 15, I never thought they would score. How much more win the game? I just thought they were poor. I think there was a massive disconnect between their midfield and their strike force. Now, as much as I'm lauding how poor they were, I also thought we were brilliant. I thought Torreira may have been the big reason as to why there was such a big disconnect. I thought he was excellent. He was everywhere. And even I have to give him credit. Granit Xhaka was superb yesterday. Absolutely superb. I think he supports Torreira very well in the sense that they seem to have a really good understanding between those two. The one thing I will say, even as critical as I've been with Granit Xhaka throughout, the one thing that they seem to have is a good understanding between the two guys. So I noticed that Granit Xhaka seemed to support Torreira's running a lot and did really well in that regard. I thought David Luiz was excellent. Excellent. I thought Mesut Ozil worked extremely hard. It just makes you wonder, so where's this been for 7 years? Because I've seen 10 performances like this now in 7 years. That's my frustration with the guy. Because I know he has it. I'm not an idiot. I know he has it. But it's just too and few far between. The last two games, absolutely effortless. In terms of his effort given, you can't fault the man. I think, again, that's another one that I think people are getting a bit carried away. People are saying that he ran the show and this, that, and the other. It's just like easy. But the one thing I will say, my man was running everywhere. Last couple of games, he's ran everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And, for me, forget the assist. That's what I want. To me, I'm more impressed with that than you doing some sort of Mesut Ozil pass. That I'm more happy with. So fair play to him. I'll give him credit for that. Anyway, I'm blabbering and blabbering. Let's move on to the player rating, shall we? You know how we do with these player ratings. You score as I score. If you disagree, no problem. All I ask is a respect thing. You may have a different perspective to me. I have my reasons as to why I've marked the mark like this. That's all I would say for this. But just go as I go, and we'll go from there. Please do stick a like on this video, as my guy Rich Franklin says. Please do stick a like on this video. Obviously, this video has come out a bit late, so the more likes you can help me with, the more people will jump on the video and show it some attention and love. Also, hit the subscribe button if this is the first time you're watching. All my socials, including Lee, who isn't here, but are in the description below. So do give that a click on and give us a follow, right? And also, Chig Flicks dropped 2 videos from the last couple of days on there. I've got 2 more videos to drop on there as well. One of them is a couple of Netflix reviews and 10 best films of 2019. Yeah, it's late, but it's happening. I'm still dropping it, and it will be dropping, I'm hoping, today. In fact, it will be today. There's no excuse. It'll be today. All right. Let's get on with it, shall we? Bert Leno. For me, I thought he dealt with everything that was asked of him. I finally got round to seeing the Rashford chance at the beginning that he dealt with. Thought it was a decent effort, good save. I felt United would try and pepper his goal more than they did, given that, you know, he'd had such a mental blow from the Chelsea game and his mistake in that game. You would have thought, if you were the United players, pepper the shit out of that goal. Just test his resolve. They never really did that. But other than that, I think he dealt with everything that he should have dealt with. And I'm going to give Leno a 7 out of 10. Not at all a bad thing, just how I felt he performed. I know some of you guys are saying an 8. Not for me. There wasn't anything out there which I wouldn't have expected Leno to save. So I thought he was good. I don't think he was great. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Right back, Anthony Maitland-Niles. Now, for all the praise that everybody's getting, people are sleeping on this guy. I thought defensively, he was fantastic yesterday. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. Discreetly going about his business, proper, like, working hard, doing the things that he needed to do. And I thought, actually, he's really starting to take some serious steps into improving his own performance, which I can only respect, because I must admit, even I had started to tap out on Anthony Maitland-Niles. I'll confess. He had a barren run of form under Unai Emery, but actually now is starting to blossom into, dare I say it, a decent enough right back. Again, I thought he was not amazing, but I think he's slowly doing some performances. I see people saying it was 6 out of 10. I think that's a little bit harsh, actually. I'm going to give him a I'm going to give him a I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. I thought Ainsley Maitland-Niles was good yesterday. Thank you, Arsenio, for the donation, my guy. Big up to you. Happy New Year to you as well, brother. Arteta will almost definitely take Arsenal into the top 3 next season. Goodness, I hope you're right. I hope you are right. I hope you're right. Wow. That's some big claims. But yeah, I thought Ainsley was very, very good. And like you say, did anyone even notice Rashford playing? I didn't notice Rashford playing. And I think that is credit to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Defensively, I thought he was fantastic. Supported Pepe when he had to. But actually, defensively was what I was more impressed with. He made a couple of last-ditch tackles, which I was like really impressed with. And there was one in particular. I can't remember who had the ball. I think it was McTominay. Someone like that. Someone on the left-hand side basically had the ball. Might have even been Shaw. And basically, I think it was the only person in between the goal and that person was Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He managed to just get his body in the way of the ball and just out-muscled this geezer and just passed it back to Leno. I thought, okay, I see what you're about. All right, I see you. No one else is singing your praises. I see him. So for me, defensively, I thought he was great. I'm going to give him a 7. I see you guys are actually being quite generous. 9, 8. I think if I saw more from him in an attacking sense, I would have given him an 8. But 7, I still think it was a good performance. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Okay. You text me loads, brother. I'm not even looking at my phone, you know. But big up to Lee in the chat room. I sent you the link. I sent you the link. My cab is on the way now. All right, go on, do your thing, brother. Don't worry about it. Do your thing. Okay. Right. Got to throw me a little bit. David Luiz. David Luiz, I thought, was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And I've been on his case for pretty much since he joined, to be honest, since he joined Chelsea. I still don't rate the guy. I'll be honest, I still don't rate the guy. But, again, this is where you have to just be fair. The last 2 games, he has been excellent. Now, people would have thought I was sniffing bone when I said David Luiz was good, considering we still conceded 2 goals against Chelsea. But I thought he was playing like a man possessed against Chelsea. And then for whatever reason, that carried on into this game, where you could argue he probably should have been quite tired after that Chelsea game. But he carried that form on into this game. And I actually thought was better. Like, he was better. He looked composed. He looked calm. Again, did you even notice Martial? I never noticed Martial. I was very, very impressed. And for every bit, and I said to Lee at the time we were watching the Chelsea game, I thought that was the best game that David Luiz had in an Arsenal shirt. He proved me wrong. Because yesterday was the best game I'd seen him in an Arsenal shirt. And for me, my man in the match. Absolutely excellent. I never thought I would say this. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Itching. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. I thought he was fantastic. Honestly, I thought he was fantastic. I'll give him a 10 out of 10. Man in the match. Socrates, to me, I thought Socrates was very, very good as well. Played more of a supporting role to David Luiz, really, but was very good in his supporting role. And yeah, to me, again, I thought was very, very good. There was one tackle I thought he made, which I thought was excellent. And yeah, for me, I thought was you couldn't have gotten better out of Socrates. So to me, I'm going to give Socrates a 8 out of 10. Another one who I thought was very, very good. Kolasinac, which was the surprise pick of the game. Everyone was like, what? Kolasinac is playing? Because for all the players that we heard was fit, no one had any idea Kolasinac was even close to fitness. Never mind fit to play. And actually, for the first half, I thought he was okay. Got himself an assist. I think he got an assist. And came in from his side, right? Yeah, he got an assist. Faded as the game went on, and then obviously came off with an injury. I don't think his injury was properly recovered because then Saka came on for him later. The couple of times he went to the ground and he was holding his foot. So that might suggest that his injury, he wasn't all the way fit. But I actually thought he did well enough. Yeah, I thought he did his job. Listen, I thought he did his job. I think some of you guys are getting carried away in the sense that best ever Kolasinac performance. I've seen Kolasinac play better. Against Liverpool, I thought he was better. Against Chelsea at home last season, I thought he was better. But I thought... See, Premod, I agree with you. I think a 7. But people are making me think, did I miss something yesterday? Because I wouldn't have said, maybe you can argue to an 8, but I'm going to stick with a 7 out of 10. I thought he was good. I'm not going to say he was incredible, but I thought he was good. Let's go with Lucas Torreira. Now, I'll be honest with you, right? I struggled to come up with man of the match between Luis and Torreira. I was struggling. I ain't gonna lie to you. I debated it back and forth, back and forth. In the end, I went with Luis, but it weren't by much. So I'm also going to give Lucas Torreira a 10 out of 10. I thought Torreira was equally as fantastic. I just went with Luis more because I felt like, and I'll be honest, it's a BS reason I've gone with Luis, and I'll tell you it straight up. I thought Luis's performance in the Chelsea game deserved more than what he ended up getting. And I know Torreira was also fantastic in that game, but I just felt like, for me, his performance stood out a little bit more than Torreira's. But listen, Torreira, another 10 out of 10. I'm handing out 10s like I've got a wallet full of tennis. I thought he was excellent. I really did. 10 out of 10. It is what it is. I'm not going to sniff at you if you say 9. For me, I'm going to go at a 10 now. Granit Xhaka, for a man who was supposedly 1 foot out of the door, played well. I don't think he was this magician that people are making out. I've heard that word before. Like I said, I love you, Wizzy. I heard him talking about wand of a left foot. And like, been a while since we've seen the wand. But the one thing I will give Granit Xhaka, and this is me having to be fair, since that Crystal Palace stuff, my man has come back focused. And I'll tell you what, for any personal opinion you have in Granit Xhaka, and you guys know how I feel about this kid, it takes a special department of mental strength to tap into that and say, right, I'm on this team. I'm on this team. And to play in front of the same Arsenal fans that, let's be honest, you've told to F off as well, it takes a special degree of mental strength. From that perspective, I'll give him that respect. You have to just be honest. I'm not gushing the way a lot of you guys are over him. I thought he played a really good support role to Lucas Torreira. I think very similar to Socrates, if you give Luis a 10, you have to give Socrates at least an 8. Same thing. You give Torreira a 10. For me, I think you give Granit Xhaka an 8. So I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. That's just my opinion on that one. Okay. Where do we go now? Do we go left or do we go right? Let's go with Mesut Ozil. Everybody's favorite number 10. Because I'll tell you what, one way or another, you will have a strong feeling about Mesut Ozil. Another one who in the last 3 games has really put some miles in. I mean, some absolute miles in. I think Mesut Ozil, and I've said this at the start of the top of the show, I'll say it again. I'm more impressed with this performance than Mesut Ozil hitting a 5-yard pass and everybody gushing over it. I'm more impressed with this. Because to me, for any, and you guys know I'm normally very cynical over Mesut Ozil. But I'm just trying to be as balanced as possible, right? You just have to be honest and say, you know what? This guy had the most balanced, measured performance in the first half. I thought he was working hard, attempting to dictate play. But actually, it was the hard work. It was the ground he covered. My man was tracking back left, tracking back right, tracking back in goals. Like, what's going on here? This is the second game in a row I'm seeing Mesut Ozil work hard. Like, don't get me wrong, I actually thought he worked pretty hard in Bournemouth as well. But the Chelsea and United games just upped levels. I was like, what is going on here? And I think for Mesut Ozil, fair play. Fair play. You have to say well done. But I also have to ask, where has this been for 7 years? All right, forget 7 years. Where's this been all season? Where was this last season? This is the frustration I have with this guy because I know you have it. I know you have it. So what's the problem? Oh, so frustrating. Because listen, for as useless as Emre was, you can't help but think sometimes these players sold this motherfucker down the road. They absolutely sold him down the road. They completely sold him down the road. Because all of a sudden, you guys now know how to kick ball. Where was this? Heck, where was this a month ago when Freddie was in charge? You know? Oh, it's so frustrating. But you also have to give credit where credit's due. What has happened in the past, to a certain extent, has happened in the past. It does make you question the players, at least for me. This is why you're not going to see me gushing over Twitter or YouTube over these players too tough. Because I do... I'm always a bit suspect of people that do that, you know, where it's easy for you to turn up when you want to turn up. But meanwhile, us as fans have been suffering for the last 18 months due to your nonsense performances. When against Chelsea, all right, you lost the Chelsea game, so I'm not going to use that as an example, where you can pull out a United performance like that. Oh, so frustrating. But Mesut Ozil, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. For me, I'm sure people will be clamoring for a 10 for Mesut Ozil and 9s. And for me, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Right. I'm going to leave Pepe for a second. Aubameyang, I thought was a little bit better than Lacazette. A little bit quieter than the Chelsea game. But I still thought worked pretty hard. Didn't get a goal this time, but I thought was really trying to track back and help Kolasinac and help Saka when Saka came on later on. And I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Lacazette, oh, man. Lack of goals, lack of threat, lack of anything attacking. Oh, man. I don't know what else to say with Lacazette, man. Sorry, I'm just getting the subs up because I ain't going to lie, I completely forgot the subs. I don't know what to really think about Lacazette in the moment. He is someone who, me and Lee, and I like to bring up things I've said in the past because I want people to gift shit unnecessarily. I like to recognize when I've said something and I like to try and address it. You've heard me, Lee, come on many, many times and say that we feel that Lacazette's more of a natural finisher than Aubameyang. But I don't know what has happened to him for the last 4 or 5 months. Looks a shadow of the player he was. And I don't know if that's just the damage that Emre's done, dropping him. But to be honest, for all that wrong that Emre did, I don't remember anyone ever saying Lacazette should be starting. I don't remember anyone saying that. I don't remember anyone batting his case for him. The only thing I would say the last couple of games is at least the industriousness that we've known Lacazette to have seems to have returned. Because even yesterday, his shooting boots weren't on. But at least he looked like he was trying to harry the defense, trying to work hard, work that front line hard. But man, if there is anybody that needs a goal, actually, he needs a goal more than Pepe does. At least Pepe, I think, scored on his last start. I can't remember the last time Lacazette scored. I'm going to go 6. I have to be real. I thought he was the deadest player, the deadest Arsenal player. But that being said, we generally played quite well. So if you're the deadest player from the starting lineup, it's not a disgrace. 6 is not a disgrace. I'll tell you who the deadest player was. Let's go into the subs. Reece, my man, I've tapped out on you, bro. I really tapped out on you. I'm about done. I would sell you. And for me, yeah. I've heard someone say a 6 for Nelson. You are being generous, my man. I'm going to be real. I'm going to give Reece a 3 out of 10. I'm just being honest. I don't think he's good enough. Not only do I not think he's good enough, I don't think he will be good enough for the Arsenal first team. And I was hoping for the best, but I think we now are in a position where we just have to plan for the worst. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can't tell me that Alex Iwobi is not better than this guy, and you guys rubbished Alex Iwobi. So it's not going to happen for Reece. I'm sorry, bro. 3 out of 10. Joe Willock. Was it Joe? Did Joe Willock come on? Did he come on for Guendouzi? No, Guendouzi came on, didn't he? Yeah, Joe Willock never came on. Saka came on for Kolasinac. Saka made a couple of really decent blocks and got back well. I'm going to give Saka a 5 out of 10. And Guendouzi came on for Lacazette, but he came on like the 82nd minute. So I ain't going to rate him. As for Mikel Arteta, I would say enjoy this moment because Arsenal fans are fickle. And right now they want to give you a knighthood right now. So I would say enjoy it. I commend him because I do see some improvements in the team. I think there's a lot more cohesion in the team. Clearly, in terms of I don't really care about style of play as long as we win games. But what I do like in our style of play is that the passing seems to be a lot better than 6 months ago, even a month ago, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so it seems to be a lot better. They seem to be, and I commented several times in the 2 streams me and Lee did about the fact that they seem to be defending more in packs, which I like. Like there was only a couple occasions over the 2 games where we were isolated, like 1 versus 1, and even then the defender dealt with it well. And I know people will say, yeah, but we still lost the Chelsea game. But yeah, I still saw enough there where I was like, okay, I could see what you're doing. I'm gonna still let it play out. But just like I never got carried away when we lost against Chelsea and when we drew against Bournemouth, I'm not going to get carried away now we've won again. I think for me to say I've been proven wrong about Arteta, I want to see him win the Europa League. If he's this great coach that people talk about him being, he must be looking to aim to win the Europa League. He wins the Europa League, I'll shut my mouth. But when people are saying to me, oh, well, are you Arteta in now? No, but I wasn't Arteta out when we lost to Chelsea. I wasn't Arteta out when we drew to Bournemouth. You guys know I've been very adamant. I've been very forthright to abuse, to periscope responses. And I've heard people, because I've said I never wanted someone who's never had a manager, who's never managed a team before. I never thought that was an overreaction. I thought that was quite a measured reaction by me. And I've had all sorts of abuse because of it. For me, you're not going to see me flip-flop. That doesn't mean to say that I can't change my mind on something, but you're not going to see me from one game go Arteta out to the next game go Arteta in. You're not going to see me be wary and then want to give this guy a knighthood because we won one game. It's not my style. It's not something like you've ever seen me do. I'm not going to start that behavior now. What I will commend Arteta about is he seems to have found a way. He seems to have found a method to get the best out of this team. I'm glad Pepe's starting. I'm glad Pepe seems hungry. What I don't want Arteta to do is drive Pepe away. It has to be said, Lucas Torreira looks like a completely different player to what we saw 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. He clearly is loving life under Mikel Arteta. Great, he's a good player. You know, I'm still not entirely convinced by Lucas Torreira, but there's no doubt about it, last 2 games has been untouchable. It has to be said. You know, David Luiz is rolling back years, and even when he was a part of Chelsea, I still didn't think he was that good, but my man is playing ball like he's a 45, 50 million pound defender. I still don't think that then does, by the way, that also does not mean that we should now not go and buy an Upamecano or a defender of some sort because David Luiz has decided he's a decent player. Don't trust these players. Go and buy another one. Go and buy another one. Go and buy another defender. From our perspective, I want us to build for the Europa League. So Arteta needs to find his best 11, and that needs to be the first team that goes for the Europa League. In terms of the league, our season's done. What I will say is that I want us to then focus in the league for the team that does play in that league. Just finish as high as you can. Just finish as high as you possibly can. And please, oh please, don't get us relegated. Which I know is laughable, but we ain't that far from it. So I would say just don't get us relegated. Continue playing in the form of fame that you're showing at the moment. We're all happy. I know it doesn't sound like it. We're all happy as Arsenal fans. And I think from Arteta's point of view, you have to give this brother a 9 out of 10. You have to give him. It's a clean sheet. We played well. I still would like to see him. I'll still like to see a complete 90-minute performance. But flip me. I'm not going to give this guy a mountain to climb in a day. Let's just see what happens. But so far, so good. The progress he's been making is great. It's just about keeping pushing. And I think actually his biggest task will be to not let these players slip. Now we can see the level they can play to. So I don't want to see that when we come back to the Premier League after my birthday. Is what it is. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do stick a like on this video. Please do hit that subscribe button. I'll be back later on today because I owe you guys at least one eager like at the very least. I've almost edited my chopping block. I'm going to have to record it again just because of things that have happened in the last couple of days that I might then need to incorporate in the video. So I'll have a think about that. I owe you guys at least one chopping block. It will come sometime in the next 24 hours. So keep a lookout on that. You'll see me do a watch along on this channel. Because obviously Lee is otherwise engaged, shall we put it, for the Leeds game. And that will be my birthday. Yes, yours truly is 35. I know I don't look it. I know I don't look it. But on Monday, I will be 35 years old. So I'll be doing a birthday watch along on Monday. I'm hoping. I know it'll be the kids. I hope the Arsenal kids give me a birthday present and they smack up Leeds. So we'll see what happens. Guys, I ain't forgotten Pepe. The reason I left Pepe. I'm going to give my third 10 out of 10. You know why I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10? No. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. I'll give him a 9 out of 10 because for me, I thought he was excellent. I thought he played very well. And this is a guy who, why I've deliberately left him till last, it isn't because I forgot him. It's because, for me, this is a player who I highly recommended for the last couple of years. And people have doubted him. People have shown that people have felt as though he is a player who is a Jovino. I've heard him mentioned in those terms. I've heard him mentioned as a flop and this, that, and the other. And in my mind, I've sat there and I've said, you know what? We wait and see. I'm not quite at the smug Chig stage yet. But I'll come back at the end of the season. And when we do a season review, you wait and see. Pepe's coming. He ain't really arrived yet. You've seen a glimpse of what he can do. I promise you, we've got a play on our hands. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10. All right. Thank you, Edmond. I appreciate that, bro. And as Majib says, in the words of Rance, presence blood. All right, I'm out of here, people. Please do subscribe to my Chig Flick channel. Link is in the description below, as is my Guna Eagle Eye tag. So look out for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Guna Eagle Eye. Guna _Eagle_Eye is my Insta. If you do Twitter, at Colossal Chig is my tag for that. All right, I'm out of here. Enough of rabbiting. I'll be back later on. Take care. Peace.